Now what about using the TinySA as a sweep gen? Yeah, it has a sweep output, but here's the issue. Notice in my sweep gen, it has 5 coax connectors on it. I have one on this. All I have is RF out. I have no horizontal output to my display device. I can't feed a DMOD signal back into this to add markers to it. I have no external marker input. All I have is sweep RF out, and that is it. So what would I hook the horizontal on this device up to? Nothing. I don't have anything to hook it up to. What I can do, though, is try it on a scope and just have the scope trigger off the line frequency or just auto trigger on a slow sweep rate, and we'll get something. It won't be synchronized with this device, so it's going to move around. I don't know how useful it's going to be, but we should be able to see something. Let's see if I can muddle my way through setting up this to be a sweep gen. Let's turn it on. We're going to use the low output. We're either going to be doing 22 or 44 megahertz IF, and that's the lower band here. For the output, ideally I would have an SMA to alligator clip, and I could clip this onto the tube shield. I don't, so I'm going to use the built-in whip and put an alligator clip on this and clip it to the chassis for ground and bring this near the tube shield. As for the device itself, we want to go into mode, switch to low out for the low frequency band output. We want to turn sweep on. Span, that's how wide a frequency band is going to sweep. I'd say experiment with this, 10, 15, 20 megahertz. Make sure it's covering the whole band that you want to cover. Sweep time defaults to 2 seconds. If you go into sweep time, the M is for milliseconds, so if, say I put in 500 M, 500 milliseconds or half a second. Sweep points, that's how many points between my high and low frequency it's going to do. It's discrete. It's not continuous. It's not an analog device, so it's going to do one frequency, jump to the next, jump to the next. It's going to divide up. Say I'm doing from 15 to 30 megahertz. It'll do 15, 15.1, 15.2, 15.3, that kind of a thing. And the fewer points you have, I believe the faster it'll sweep. Again, experiment with it. And frequency, I believe sets our center frequency. 15, 20, something in that realm. And finally, I've forgotten to do this so many times. You go through all that, it doesn't do anything. You have to turn it on. Again, play around with this. In particular, the frequency. I don't know if that's the center frequency or if that's the starting frequency. I know my sweep width is 15. I don't know if it goes from 20 to 35, or is it going to do 7.5 megahertz on either side of 20. Again, we'll have to experiment with that. I haven't found a whole lot of info about using this as a sweep gen online because I don't think very many folks have tried doing this. But we're going to give it a go. Let's see what we can get. And what do you know? It is actually possible to use the TinySA. So I have it set up to sweep from around 15 to 30 megahertz. And it's sweeping every 1/10 of a second. So I'm feeding that in on that tube shield, and the output is going to the Y on the scope, and I'm just triggering off of this waveform. And I just played around with the time base and the triggering to get it on there. It's a little finicky to get the triggering right and the sweep rate right, so it looks halfway decent. But yeah, it is possible. It is possible. And if you had a second one, you could use that in RF out mode and add a marker to this, I suppose. So, yeah, what do you know? It is possible. It's not very convenient and a little touchy to set up. And these little gaps in here, that's because this does discrete steps, meaning it steps between frequencies. It's not a continuous scan thing. So in between frequencies, well, actually I'm not sure. Looks like it increases frequencies a bit and then it's going back to zero and then doing a few more steps and then down to zero. I don't know why it's doing that. That doesn't seem right, but yeah, there you go. It turns out if you have firmware version 1.1-91, that it does produce a sweep voltage of 0 to 3.3 volts, which you can use to drive the x-axis on your scope or monitor. Problem is they don't feed that to the outside of the device via a connector anywhere. You have to break your case open and attach a wire to this point. I'll link this article in the description. This article was posted in February of 2021, so over 2 years ago at the time of my recording this video. So they haven't added that connector by now. I don't think it's going to happen. But yes, it is possible. And there's a video of a gentleman who does it, and it works just fine. So if you don't mind cracking open your case and doing some micro soldering, yes, you can absolutely use the TinySA as a sweep gun.